You've been told that in a democracy, the government works for the people. That power is accountable. That secrets, when they exist to protect you. What if I told you that some of the darkest, most disturbing things ever done on American soil were done by your own government to American citizens and then buried for decades? Not rumors, not conspiracy theories. Declassified, confirmed, documented. The files exist. The evidence is there, and some of it was only released in the last few years. These are 10 dark secrets the United States government kept hidden, and what happened when the truth finally came out. This is Hidden America TV. And some of what you're about to hear will be very difficult to believe, but every word of it is real. Zara's Secret, Deborah 10. Operation Paperclip. When World War II ended in 1945, the United States government faced a problem. Nazi Germany had developed the most advanced rocket technology in the world. Scientists like Wernher von Braun had built the V-2 rocket, a weapon that terrorized London and killed thousands of civilians. These were war criminals, men who had used slave labor from concentration camps to build their weapons. The US government recruited them anyway. Operation Paperclip was a secret program that brought over 2,600 former Nazi scientists, engineers, and technicians to the United States after the war. Their records were scrubbed. Their pasts were erased. They were given new identities, American citizenship, and jobs at the highest levels of the US military and space program. Wernher von Braun, a man who used concentration camp prisoners to build rockets for Adolf Hitler, became the director of NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. He helped design the Saturn V rocket that sent Americans to the moon. The program remained classified for decades. When it was finally exposed, the government's explanation was simple. We needed their knowledge more than we needed justice, whether you agree with that logic or not. It was a decision made in secret, without the knowledge or consent of the American people. A secret number 9. MK-Ultra. Between 1953 and 1973, the CIA ran a covert mind control program called Project MK-Ultra. The goal was to develop techniques to control human behavior, to create the perfect spy, the perfect assassin, or the perfect interrogation subject. They conducted experiments on thousands of people. The vast majority had no idea they were being experimented on. Subjects included mental patients, prisoners, drug addicts, and ordinary American and Canadian citizens who were given LSD, electroshock therapy, hypnosis, and psychological torture without their knowledge or consent. Some subjects were dosed with LSD repeatedly for weeks or months. Some were subjected to sensory deprivation for days at a time. Some were subjected to what the CIA called psychic driving, playing recorded messages on loop while subjects slept, trying to reprogram their thoughts. Frank Olson, a US Army biochemist, died in 1953 after being secretly dosed with LSD by his own government. He fell from a hotel window in New York City. The CIA called it a suicide. His family has always called it murder. When MK-Ultra was exposed in 1977 during a Senate committee investigation, CIA Director Richard Helms had already ordered the destruction of most of the program's files. What we know now comes from the documents that survived by accident, misfiled in a financial records office that wasn't included in the purge. We will never know the full extent of what was done. Secret number 8, plutonium experiments. In 1945, the same year it dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan, the United States government began injecting human beings with plutonium, not enemy combatants, not prisoners of war. Americans, 18 people, were injected with plutonium over the course of 2 years. Their subjects included people with terminal illness, children, and unhoused Americans. None of them were told what they were receiving. None of them gave informed consent. One subject, Eb Cade, broke his arm and leg in a car accident in 1945. Doctors delayed treating his fractures for weeks so they could first inject him with plutonium and study how it affected his bones. He died 8 years later. The experiments didn't stop there. They expanded to include incarcerated people, elderly patients, and military servicemen, all exposed to radiation without their knowledge. The program remained secret for nearly 50 years. It was finally exposed in 1993 when journalist Eileen Wellsome began investigating documents she found buried in government archives. Her reporting won the Pulitzer Prize. The people who were experimented on or their families received a presidential apology in 1995. They received no compensation. Secret number 7, Operation Northwoods. In 1962, at the height of the Cuban Missile Crisis, the United States Joint Chiefs of Staff presented President John F. Kennedy with a plan. The plan was called Operation Northwoods, and it proposed that the U.S. government stage fake terrorist attacks on American citizens and blame them on Cuba. The plan included bombing American cities, sinking boats carrying Cuban refugees, shooting down a U.S. passenger aircraft, staging the murder of American citizens in the streets of Washington, D.C. All of it to be blamed on Cuba, to give the U.S. a justification for war, signed and approved by the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Every senior military leader in America. President Kennedy rejected it. He was assassinated the following year. The connection, if any, remains unknown. Operation Northwoods remained classified for over 35 years. It was finally declassified in the late 1990s through the work of the JFK Assassination Records Review Board. The document is real. It is available to read online today. Your government's most senior military commanders proposed killing American citizens to start a war, and it came within one signature of happening. Secret number 6, Tuskegee Syphilis Study. In 1932, the United States Public Health Service began a medical study in Macon County, Alabama. They recruited 399 black sharecroppers who had syphilis and told them they were being treated for bad blood. They were not being treated. They were being observed. The government wanted to study what syphilis did to the human body if left completely untreated. So they gave their subjects placebos. They gave them vitamins. They gave them aspirin. They did not give them treatment. When penicillin was discovered in the 1940s and became the standard, effective cure for syphilis, the government kept it from these men anyway. The study continued for 40 years, until 1972, when a government whistleblower named Peter Buxton leaked the program to the press. By that point, 28 men had died directly from syphilis. 100 had died from related complications. 40 wives had been infected. 19 children had been born with congenital syphilis. The government had known for 40 years and said nothing. President Clinton issued a formal apology in 1997. The last survivor of the Tuskegee study died in 2004. The legacy of Tuskegee is still felt today in documented mistrust of the medical system among Black Americans that researchers continue to study. A government program designed to heal deliberately chose to harm for 4 decades and called it science. Secret number 5, the Pentagon Papers. For years, the United States government told the American public that the Vietnam War was winnable, that progress was being made, that the sacrifice of American lives was meaningful. They were lying. In 1967, Defense Secretary Robert McNamara commissioned a top-secret study of U.S. involvement in Vietnam going back to 1945. The study ran to 7,000 pages. Its conclusion was devastating. The government had systematically misled Congress and the American public about the origins, conduct, and prospects of the Vietnam War. Senior officials privately believed the war could not be won, while publicly insisting it could. The study was classified top secret. In 1971, a government analyst named Daniel Ellsberg, who had worked on the study, decided the American people deserved to know. He photocopied all 7,000 pages by hand. It took him years. Then he leaked them to the New York Times. Nixon's government tried to stop publication. The Supreme Court ruled against them. The papers were published. The fallout helped end the Vietnam War and destroyed what remained of public trust in the government's honesty. Daniel Ellsberg was charged with espionage. The charges were later dropped due to government misconduct. He said, "I felt that as an American citizen, as a responsible citizen, I could no longer cooperate in concealing this information from the American public." He died in 2023, still convinced he did the right thing. Secret number 4, COINTELPRO. From 1956 to 1971, the FBI ran a hidden program that most Americans knew nothing about. They called it COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program. The official story? Protecting America from dangerous subversives. The reality? Spying on, sabotaging, and destroying the lives of ordinary American citizens. Civil rights leaders, peace activists, black liberation movements, women's rights organizers, socialists, anyone who dared to challenge the system. The FBI wiretapped Martin Luther King Jr., recorded his private conversations, then sent him an anonymous letter telling him to kill himself before he could accept the Nobel Peace Prize. They forged letters to turn civil rights groups against each other, planted false stories to ruin reputations, got activists fired, evicted, imprisoned, some on completely fabricated charges. For 15 years, this went on in secret. It only came to light in 1971 when a small group of activists broke into an FBI field office in Media, Pennsylvania, and walked out with classified files. They sent those files to the press, and suddenly, America saw the truth. Its own government had been waging a secret war, not against foreign enemies, but against its own people. Secret number 3, Operation Sea Spray. In September 1950, the United States Navy conducted a secret biological warfare experiment on the city of San Francisco. For 6 days, Navy ships cruised along the San Francisco coastline, spraying a fine mist of bacteria called Serratia marcescens across the entire city. The bacteria were considered harmless at the time. The experiment was designed to test how a biological attack might spread through an urban population, to help the government plan for Soviet biological warfare. The 800,000 residents of San Francisco had no idea they were being used as test subjects. Within days of the spraying, 11 patients were admitted to Stanford Hospital with a rare Serratia infection. One of them, Edward Nevin, a 75-year-old man recovering from prostate surgery, died. The government denied any connection for decades. The program was finally confirmed through declassified documents obtained in the 1970s. Nevin's family sued the government. They lost. The court ruled that the government could not be held liable for secret Cold War national security operations. San Francisco was not the only city tested. Declassified documents confirmed that the Army conducted similar covert biological and chemical tests in cities across America from the 1940s through the 1970s, including in New York City subway stations, where they released bacteria to study how they spread through enclosed spaces, all without telling anyone. Secret number 2. The 1961 Goldsboro nuclear accident, January 23, 1961. 3 days after President Kennedy's inauguration, a U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber breaks apart in midair over Goldsboro, North Carolina. As the plane disintegrates, it releases 2 Mark 39 hydrogen bombs. Each bomb was 250 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. One bomb's parachute deployed correctly. It landed in a field, intact, safe. The second bomb did not fare so well. As it fell, it went through every single arming sequence a nuclear weapon requires to detonate. Every step in sequence. There were 4 safety switches on that bomb. 3 of them failed. One switch, a single low-voltage switch, stood between North Carolina and a nuclear explosion that would have been 250 times Hiroshima. The fallout would have reached Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Millions of people. The government classified this information for over 50 years. It was finally revealed in 2013 through a Freedom of Information Act request by journalist Eric Schlosser. A declassified document from the time stated, and this is a direct quote from the record, that the bomb came jarringly close to detonation. One switch. That is the only thing that separates the America we live in today from an unimaginable catastrophe. Secret number 1. The 2026 UFO/UAP files. Did you know that some government records remain hidden for years before becoming public? Throughout modern history, several government projects and decisions were only revealed long after they occurred. One example is Operation Paperclip, a program that brought German scientists to the United States after World War II. Another example involves Cold War-era research programs that were later reviewed and discussed through official investigations. There have also been historical military planning documents and incidents that became public through declassification and archival releases. More recently, government agencies have released records related to unidentified aerial observations. These files include pilot reports, radar data, photographs, and other materials collected over many decades. Many reports were eventually linked to natural events, equipment limitations, or conventional aircraft. Some observations, however, remain unexplained due to limited data. Officials have stated that unexplained observations do not automatically indicate extraordinary causes. Instead, they highlight the importance of continued research and analysis. The release of historical records gives researchers, journalists, and the public a better understanding of how information is collected, evaluated, and shared. History reminds us that transparency evolves over time. As more records become available, our understanding of past events continues to grow. I'm HiddenAmericaTV. Which historical disclosure surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. And subscribe for more fascinating stories from documented history.